On today's Smile 7, Putin pays tribute to Prigozhin, Donald Trump goes to jail briefly, and lots more. It's Friday the 25th of August. It's National Second-Hand Wardrobe Day, and happy birthday, Blake Lively.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
The death of Wagner mercenary boss Yevgeny Prigozhin has sparked a frenzy of conspiracy theories and drama across the last 48 hours. The man behind the mini-coup appears to have died in a private plane crash on Wednesday evening that US intelligence suspects was caused by an explosive device on board. Thursday saw Russian President Vladimir Putin pay tribute in a half-hearted way to the man who was once his chef and later his rival.
He had a difficult fate. He made serious mistakes in his life. But he achieved the necessary results both for himself and when I asked him to do so for the common goal, as happened in recent months.
Despite efforts by some Russian media sources to blame the Ukrainians for the assassination, President Zelensky says it's clear who was behind the killing.
First of all, we don't have any connection to this situation, that's for sure. I think everyone understands who is involved.
Thursday also marked Ukrainian Independence Day, and Ukrainian special forces celebrated with a raid inside Russian-occupied Crimea. It's a striking expansion of their abilities to operate within Russian territory. And Oleksiy Ryabchin, advisor for the European and Euro-Atlantic integration of Ukraine, says it'll make Russia nervous.
Of course, it's a big PR stuff. It's nothing to do with the situation of a battlefield, but it shows the vulnerability of Crimea. It shows the vulnerability of Putin's regime.
Senior doctors and NHS consultants in England walked out on Thursday morning for a 48-hour strike, and they've already announced more strikes for September and October. Health Secretary Steve Barclay has been trying to convince medical unions that Rishi's first and final offer is all that he can afford. He's called on the unions to cancel their action and accept the deal on the table.
I'm very disappointed by the decision of the BMA to call further strikes. The government has accepted in full the recommendations of the independent pay review body, and I urge the BMA to call an end to the strike because the strike ultimately damages patients, and that's what we all should be focused on.
Dr. Vishal Sharma is the chair of the British Medical Association's Consultants Committee, and he says that it's not as simple as the Health Secretary is making out. Doctors are in high demand, there are staff shortages in the NHS, and qualified doctors are being lured away to other countries with better pay scales.
Starting salary for consultants in Ireland and indeed Australia can be twice that of the starting salaries in the UK, and that's where we are losing people too. We have over 6,000 doctors who qualified in the UK now working in Australia, and they are actively trying to recruit more.
Friday at midday is the deadline for the accused conspirators in Georgia's election fraud and racketeering case to hand themselves in to Fulton County Jail. Former President Trump finally turned up late on Thursday evening, had a mugshot taken and was released on his $200,000 bail. He described the whole event as a travesty of justice and took to X/Twitter to post his mugshot. It came after his interview with Tucker Carlson on the platform, where he ranted about Joe Biden, the Justice Department and his many indictments.
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick. You have great people in the Democrat Party. You have great people that are Democrats. Most of the people in our country are fantastic, and I'm representing everybody. I'm not just Republicans or conservatives. I represent everybody. I'm the president of everybody.
Technically, he's not the president of anybody, and 2024 Republican presidential candidate Ryan Binkley, who's polling 1%, says a growing voter base is moving away from Trump.
Right now, about half of the party, the Republican Party, is kind of stuck with Trump right now. They're kind of staying with him. And about half, and I would say a growing majority, is starting to leaning towards another candidate.
Students across the UK collected their GCSE results on Thursday, which showed, as expected, that grades have fallen compared to last year. 68.2% of students achieved grade 4 or above, which could be a C or better in the old system, with England suffering the biggest drop in pass rates. Results were expected to fall after the government announced plans to return grades back to 2019 levels in an effort to tackle grade inflation as a result of the pandemic. Schools Minister Nick Gibbs says balance had to be restored and that the grading policy is still fair.
It's important to get back to normality, to the same grading we had in 2019 and the same grading that will happen in the years ahead. We want to maintain the value and integrity of GCSEs as a public exam and a qualification that employers, colleges and universities can respect.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Formula 1 goes Dutch and Emma and Matt Willis go dating.
Right after this. Welcome back.
Formula One is back this weekend after a 4-week break, kicking off with Drivers' Championship leader Max Verstappen's home race at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Ahead of the Dutch Grand Prix on Sunday, Haas have re-signed their drivers Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg for the 2024 Formula One season. Whilst Haas are currently 8th in the Constructors' Championships, Max Verstappen's Red Bull will be looking to make it 13 wins from 13 to maintain their top spot. Verstappen describes how competing in a home race will spur him on.
It's a great weekend for me to come to. I mean, it's honestly, it's great to see all the fans next to the track, and it's also an amazing track to drive. You know, so all of those things together makes it a fun weekend.
Love is Blind has been a monster hit in the US for Netflix, and now they're making a UK version. If you haven't seen it, the twist is that the contestants never get to lay eyes on each other until the very end. Will it be as intriguing when we hear a mysterious Merseysider trying to chat up an invisible Welsh beauty? Who knows? Emma Willis, along with Busted member and her husband Matt Willis, have teamed up to take the daters through their paces in 2024.
I imagine if you're coming in here for this purpose, you are prepped and you've probably been online dating for years and you're so sick to death. But do you know what it makes me realise?
What?
That we haven't been on a date for nearly 20 years and I wouldn't even know where to begin.
After almost a decade away from the big screen, The Expendables are back by popular demand. Expendables 4 is the latest in the series and, as usual, is packed with big Hollywood names, including Megan Fox, 50 Cent and previous World's Strongest Man Eddie Hall, joining regulars Jason Statham, Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren. Expendables fans can head down to cinemas on the 22nd of September to see Stallone's final performance in the franchise and find out if he really is expendable.
We heard you. Please make Expendables 4 rated R. There better be violence and lots of it. I want all the blood and guts.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.